Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства?
They want you to comply.
Cancel culture. It's about cancel him.
Кокаином.
Up yours. Woke moralists. Up yours.
This is systematic bullying that's happening.
Woke moralists. Up yours.
And they believe that they can then
Woke
shut us
moralists.
up.
Up around and find out.
Up yours. Woke moralists.
They seem animalistic is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals.
The woke mob, they ruin everything.
They stop Ben Shapiro from going to events and speaking. They stop Ann Coulter from doing it.
I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob.
You never cave to the mob.
We will never bow to the mob. Ever. No matter what.
Do you see the final expression of cancel culture in terrorist groups like
Up yours.
We'll see who cancels who.
Hey.
I like your lighting, Lance.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the bisexual lighting. It looks really good.
Yeah, I was like, that's the 2024. That's my goal. I was like, make everything more gay. So I gayed it up a bit.
Yeah, it's great.
Splendid.
I absolutely love it.
It's way too distracting.
Is it?
I was like, no,
it's not too bad. It's like you're lit well, so it's sort of just like kind of a mood thing.
Yeah,
like,
and then like that. Yes,
I think it looks good.
Yeah,
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
Unless it's just distracting for you, like with all the lights, but it looks good on this end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it looks
all
good.
right. Sweet.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
How are you, friends? I missed y'all.
Yeah, I missed you too.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Where were you last week? Enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I was taking a much needed vacation. I followed Mike's lead. I was like, Mike looks happy. I'm following him.
You know, it lasted a little bit after, but I'm back to the doom and gloom. But you know, it was a nice break.
I know it took me like 7 days to realize everything sucks again.
Yeah.
No shit. No shit.
Second week back, like first week back, I'm like, all right, let's do this. I'm really energized. And like week 2 back, I'm like, nothing's gonna change.
And it's an election year in America.
Yeah,
so giddy up.
Which makes it so much worse. And in theory, like us political commentators should be really excited about it being an election year because, you know, in theory, you get more views and that should translate into more revenue. But I'm dreading it. I hate the thought that there's going to be an election in November makes my skin crawl just because of like all the bullshit we're going to have to endure between now and then. Things we can't even conceive of. Like shit's going to get wild in ways that I can't even describe or conceptualize. And I'm not I'm just not ready for it. I'm so checked out mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
I completely agree. I'll never forget the wise words of one David Dole when he was like, I asked him what's it like getting back from vacation? Because I think you're taking like 7 days or something like that, and you're like,
I took like a rare vacation.
I never wanted to come back to this. Like I just didn't want to come back at all. I was like, I feel that, yeah. Especially when you get to read or play video games for like 3 days straight. You're like, oh wow, this is great.
Yeah, like I that vacation, I thought, okay, I'm gonna feel refreshed. I'll come back, and I felt great on the vacation. And then I came back. I don't want to return to this. I want to go back on vacation. Yes, I feel refreshed to go back on vacation.
Yeah. You know what's funny is there's been this trend of like really old school YouTubers with like millions and millions of subs just kind of quitting.
I've seen a couple of that.
4 or 5. I just saw
people
in the past couple days. Yeah.
Yeah. I just watched Matt
Canyon. Matt Pat was a really big one. Who's that British guy who's basically like a Channel 4 or a BBC presenter?
I don't know who he is.
Oh yeah, he's that level of pro, but he as well. He quit too. I forget who the other really major one was.
I will admit that I don't know any of them, but I'm told they're big, so I believe them. But I'm sure it's for various reasons, right? Like, are they just tired of doing the work?
Yeah,
or like
I watched the Matt Pat video about this, and that's the first Matt Pat video I've ever seen. was his
Oh,
quitting
really?
video.
and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hadn't seen him before either.
But he was basically saying he's just burnt out, just the grind constantly. And here's the thing. I realized that we're in this weird position to where like we're privileged enough to be able to do this full time, which I mean, it's a blessing, right? I'm so thankful. I would never want to go back to my old job, but we're not privileged enough to just be like, I've made enough money. Peace. I'm out. Like these YouTubers.
that's another tier.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this in the case of MatPat. What he's doing basically is he just doesn't want to be front facing. Like most of them, they all gave themselves promotions. It's like, it's just like, it's so much. I hate the grind. I hate the culture. I hate having to think about algorithms and uploads and all that kind of stuff all the time. So you know what? I'm going to let the rest of the staff handle everything, and I'm going to be more of a managerial role from now on. So I'll just like take a big step back. I was like, that's nice. That's
right.
It's nice to be in a part of YouTube that is not politics, where half our shit gets demonetized or doesn't get actual views on it because YouTube is trying to depress political. I mean, Facebook. I'm not sure if any of you guys are on Facebook, but Facebook has completely decimated their political stuff. Like my views are down to like a fraction of what they were, and it's a good thing I don't have to rely too much on like YouTube revenue. But if you're someone who's like just on on Facebook revenue, but if you're someone who's just on Facebook, you're like effed. Like they have completely killed political channels. At least, I'm sure Ben Shapiro's fine because he's friends with Zuckerberg. Yeah. But when it comes to people who are trying to talk sense on there, we're all just dead. It's completely gone.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I'm not saying that I would quit. Like I wouldn't want to quit, but like not having
I'm a sicko. The part of me loves this. I would silly.
Exactly. But I would like do much different content if I wasn't forced to do it. Like I was doing what I wanted to do at the start of this, and then it became a job, which is awesome, unexpectedly. But now, like, my mentality has changed. I think that the algorithm has changed. And now I would just want to like, I don't know, drop a video once per month that's just like really well researched, amazing, like a mini documentary. I wouldn't want to have to continuously like feed the algorithm every single day like we do. And it's gotten better in the sense that like I don't feel like I'm going to get punished if I don't post a video on a certain day. I kind of just cover news stories as they come and if they're interesting to me. But like, there's still that sense of, okay, it's been a couple of days, you should upload something. So you don't want to fuck around too much, because if once you're in this hole in the algorithm, it's so hard to dig yourself back up. And I feel like, we're all in pretty good places. I feel like I'm in a good place. But just, I want to, like, the passion is kind of gone for me. Like, I want to do it for joy and fun, not just because I feel like I have to,
I think part of that, at least the I don't know, depression or just like frustration for me, is that a lot of what YouTube platforms is the dumbest shit. Like,
right.
This is a consistent theme with
Mr.
my videos.
Beast.
There is like, I will like today I spent a lot of hours researching and breaking down, figuring out how to properly explain this whole ICJ story with South Africa taking Israel to court. And so a lot of work on that video. I knew it wasn't going to do well because YouTube typically, at least recently, has, I don't know, maybe it's not YouTube, maybe it's just viewers don't want to watch stuff on Israel anymore because it's so depressing. But I knew it wouldn't do that well, but I knew I had to cover this and I wanted to cover it. So I did that. It's not doing that great. But I'll do a video on like a news item that is very basic, and I can't think of an example, but I'm sure that there's been times where something hits and I'm like, okay, I'll cover this, and it took me like maybe like an hour of research, and I broke it down, and that video like does amazing. And it's a consistent theme where it's like when I put more work in, those videos do worse. When I put less work in, the videos do better. So there's this incentive built into YouTube where it's like, if you cover serious shit, guess what? It's not going to pay off. You shouldn't do it. If you cover the dumbest shit or just random news stories, then you'll do well. It's really unfortunate just what isn't.
Also, I think it's
prioritized.
I think it's not just YouTube too. I think like just like across the board, people are getting kind of like fed up, burnt out. Just not everyone has the privilege to randomly be like, so I'm my own boss, and I don't want to do this thing anymore, so I get to go do the other stuff now, right? Like I assume if you're working like I don't know about y'all, I used to work manual labor. It was horrible. It was horrifying, right? Like if I could just randomly be like, you know what, I want to just put the pause button on this, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Like I'd probably get a lot of people. Like I saw all the right wingers making fun of woman who wanted to quit McDonald's or something. But I was like, I remember working for fast food. It did suck.
Yeah.
And then like I would want to gripe if I had an ability to do so. Just be like, yeah, it sucks driving 20 minutes to go there, getting paid like, $13.50 an hour, and then I fucking get yelled at by my boss. I have to drive home, and then everyone's like, well, you're lazy. These kids are lazy, entitled Gen Z.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. No, for sure. By the way, in case anyone is wondering, you notice some absences. So we actually, and this is serious, I know we joke about this a lot. We had a meeting this weekend about Matt Bender and his conduct, and we're done. So we kicked him out.
He's too mean to Elon. He's too mean to Elon. We're
not going to tolerate that. That is white racism, anti-white racism, and we're just done with it. So we're very seriously done. We kicked him out. Yeah. Rebecca is still on the podcast, though. She'll be here in a little bit.
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
No, Bender's at CES. He's in Las Vegas right now, and he will be back next week. He's reporting on, if you look at his Twitter account, he's got some really cool pictures of the Razer car with desktop PCs in the back.
I'm sorry, that's the dumbest shit in the fucking world. Who games in their car? Like, who games in their car? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no. He also rode through the Tesla Hyperloop, which I didn't know was like an actual thing. Like I thought it was a concept, and he explained that it was.
Oh, you didn't know they built it.
Well, he explained last week that it was
just
real,
a tunnel,
but I thought it was like a demonstration.
Such a glorious waste of money. It's an amazingly glorious waste of money. Just a fantastic taxpayer money too. So much public money went into a car hole.
Public money went into that piece of garbage.
Oh yes. And apparently at the time they were bidding, like they were asking between all these different plans which one could be used to start like solving the problem of traffic, and he won the bid. Like they ended up going with the Boring Company is the name of this company that makes it, and they chose that. And the whole thing is just like an underground single tunnel showcase for Teslas that eventually, of course, just become completely congested murder holes. It's a nightmare. But like, how is anyone still buying this? Well, I guess at this point now he's kind of just like Hitler light. But like before, it was kind of like, how is anyone buying this?
It came out. I'm not sure if he admitted it or this was. It was this story came out where it was Elon's way of just trying to avoid public money being spent on public transit. Like it was his way of just like demolishing the idea of investments into public transit, which I guess he successfully did if he's the one winning those bids, as opposed to putting money into public transit. You give it to this shitty private company run by Elon Musk, who then just uses it to try and sell his own cars in a display in Las Vegas. Like it's just, I think people buy. The one benefit from Elon Musk buying Twitter is that no one's buying his bullshit now. Like it's obvious now that he's a piece of crap. And there was questions before, but he's this brilliant individual. No, he's a fucking dipshit, and the people he worked with were the smart ones. And he's racist, and he has a terrible history of when it comes to workers' rights. He's just a bad person. So like at least that veil has been lifted, and there's no longer this idea that he's this intelligent individual and this brilliant mind. No, he's a dipshit.
Yeah.
And an impregnation fetishist.
Yeah, he is weird.
Yeah, he's such a freak.
Who would ever sleep with him?
Like, well, his subordinates.
He's so disgusting in every way. He's so fucking disgusting.
Yeah. He makes my skin crawl. I've said that twice this podcast. You can tell what kind of mood I'm in. But he's just so insufferable, and he has gone on and on lately. If you check his feed about immigration. And that to me is so frustrating.
And white replacement shit too.
Yeah, great replacement conspiracy theory. Yeah. He says that he pushes this all the time, and it's just frustrating because like he's an immigrant. He moved here, and now he wants to close the door behind him. And what's so funny, like he gives the game away because he used to complain all the time, or not complain. He would fearmonger about the global population and these declining birth rates, in particular in developing countries. But I mean, what's one solution to that? If you think it's a problem, that is immigration. But no, he wants the white kind of immigration. The right kind of immigration. It's just, it's
Western values is what I hear you say.
Western values,
Western culture, right. It's superior culture, to the inferior.
He's racist. I mean, and speaking of him. He's praising our good friend John Fetterman now because John Fetterman said something.
Oh no way! I didn't see that.
A little sussy. Yeah. I have the receipt, so I have my tab open. So John Fetterman has already won the support of a lot of right wingers, Fox News, and now Elon Musk is really happy with him. Let me pull up the video here. I don't know if you will watch this. I didn't do a video on this. I just reacted to it on Twitter.
I watched the first 5 seconds. I'm like, I can't even listen to this guy talk anymore. Like, too much for me.
God.
He's also doing the white farmers in South Africa are part of the white genocide going on.
Yeah,
there.
was that the same video? Was that the same video?
Yeah, but that
video,
stuff was debunked years ago. Hey,
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing okay. Not too bad.
Pretty
We're
good.
here. We're here.
Well, happy 2024. I know I wasn't with you guys last show, but happy 2024.
I wasn't either. This is like the grand reunion,
Oh,
and,
my
and we're rid of the
Happy
bad
New Year
one
to you
too.
both.
Yeah,
Oh.
we finally got rid of Binder, and everything's great. It's
I know.
streamlined now.
It would be great if we never see him again. I'm just kidding.
Yep.
Love him here, wherever he is. Can't wait to see him.
Before you came, I'm like, we kicked out Binder, and we're being serious about this, but Rebecca will be here. Just because we have the opportunity. And by the way, Matt reminded us to make sure we do the meme. So we're not being going extra hard on him. Yeah. Let me pull up that video though of John Fetterman, because it's insufferable, but this is just who he is now. Hang on one second. Let me bring it in. Okay, let me try to up the volume just because I know things are usually pretty soft. Okay.
Hide behind civilians.
Oh, sorry.
Who are they really fighting? It's a group of cowards. They hide in tunnels. They hide behind civilians. They attack, kill, and mutilate children, women, and they do that. Stop talking about proportion on that. They shot their best shot on October 7th, and they would have taken more lives if they couldn't do that, but they couldn't do it. And now let's also talk about that. Now we're talking about genocide. And now South Africa is bringing that kind of a trial. Maybe South Africa being able to sit this one out when they're talking about criticizing.
Yeah. Fuck you, South Africa.
How fucking stupid is this man? Sit this one out. Why? Because they're the best ones to bring the argument forward, considering they went through apartheid. Like, are you a fucking moron? The answer is yes. Yes.
I mean, of all the countries in the world, South Africa is literally the most uniquely qualified to specifically speak about Israel's crimes because they just beat it. And like, my whole question was like, does he think it's the same regime in South Africa that they're still doing apartheid? Because ANC, which is the party in power right now, they literally fought apartheid. So, like, it doesn't even make sense. And the only way that you can try to rationalize what he's saying is if he is buying into this white supremacist myth that there's a white genocide going on in South Africa, promoted by the people on Stormfront, Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson.
Lauren Southern, that's been her like bread and butter for a long time. And I want to tell everyone the reason even Joe Rogan started walking back, kind of going down that rabbit hole of being like, well, they're targeting, white farmers, affluent white farmers in South Africa. It's because the number went down, like the number of people actually killed, the number of land owning, privileged white farmers in South Africa who are getting killed, by non-privileged white farmers has gone down overall. So people who are still at this point saying like, there's like this, phenomenon of like, yes, it is. There are regions in South Africa that are violent. There are regions where people are killed, and there are regions where people who are both white and black are killed. And there are times when white farmers, landowning farmers, are killed. But that number overall is going down. So to keep being like, have you heard about this? It's like, well, yeah, but like, what are you? What's the implication?
Right. And they pretend like black farmers aren't also killed. I mean,
exactly.
It's just so bizarre to me. And part of it, and the ADL. Ironically made a great point about this back in 2018, that like this is part of the white supremacist yearning for those apartheid days, right? Like they're trying to portray the white minority in South Africa as if now all of a sudden they're being repressed, and they long for the days where they were in control and subjugating black South Africans to second-class citizenship status. But on that note, what's funny is that I don't know, or actually I do know how Fetterman interpreted this, at least what he says. But white supremacists think that like he's dog whistling to them, because I have this here. So this was shared by somebody. And wokeness. Did John Fetterman just call out the white genocide in South Africa? And Elon Musk says he is right. So that's who he's pandering to. Yeah, and this is the response, apparently. This is what he says here. So in response to a request for clarification of those comments, Mr. Fetterman said in a statement given to The Independent, the entirety of my point was this: South Africa should instead focus on the spiraling humanitarian crises on its own continent, which is ironic, like Sudan, where more than 7 million people have been displaced with widespread atrocities. And then like, this is the best response here by Willid Shahid. If that's the case, then shouldn't Fetterman of Braddock, Pennsylvania,
exactly
right?
Exactly.
So
like what?
Yeah,
unbelievable. I can't even. I want to say it's stupidity, but I don't know what the like. Does Israel have his kids held hostage? Like, what the hell's going on? Like, it's so bizarre. It is so bizarre, is what it is.
Is it bizarre, or is it that they know that they can say these things and get away with it because who's going to believe them? Who's going to really look who just co-signed like that whole thing? You know, Elon Musk and friends. And so these people who actually believe these things, people in America believe that there's a genocide going on a land that they stole of them. Like, so this is what people believe this thing. People believe, and for him to stand up and say that and try to walk it back, not in the best way, of course, but he meant what he said. He said what he meant. And you know, the first time, what they say, when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. These people have been
but the first time he showed us, he said he was progressive. That's why it's
so
bizarre.
They lied.
He's the most far right Democrat on this issue. Like,
Cat Williams said, why do liars lie? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Okay, he's a liar, and they give these people power because
so shame on us is what you're saying, Rebecca. That's what I hear. Shame on us for believing it. Shame on us.
Because it's like these people get these platforms, they say these things, and they can, like we were talking about what Tucker Carlson, all these people, they're gonna replay this and they're gonna say how Fetterman they're trying to silence him. And then they're going to post up a lot of the things on the left, like things like we're saying here and saying, look how the left is breaking down what Fetterman said when Fetterman actually stated that and we're like, no, he pushed that until people put a little fire under his behind. But yeah, it's racist. It's racist what he's talking about. And to try to say and compare it or whatever, he would juxtapose it to what's happening in Israel and what's happening in Palestine is crazy.
That's right. Can you explain that? Because it's been a while.
Well, basically, he's doing these ads where, like, he's talking really strongly and giving interviews where he's like, yeah, like, I don't associate with progressivism anymore. Like, I wish there was harder laws on immigration. We have to end all these programs that are allowing all these illegal immigrants and stuff. And then obviously people pointed out, it's like, yeah, but like you're married to someone who was an illegal immigrant. It's like, you know, it's part of our heritage kind of thing. It's like literally your fam, you know, like what are you doing? And then you're like, yeah, the statement after that was something else, some other BS. Just like, yeah, I'm very happy, you know, that she's capable of learning what it is to be a true American, but at the same time we must protect our borders from like things are different now and like all this other stuff. It's like, no, it's just the same shit.
He also made it a part of his campaign, the fact that his wife wasn't like an immigrant,
right?
Yeah,
like to campaign on this stuff and then to just do a complete 180. To be fair, on the topic of Israel, he did give one interview before he was elected where he was clearly defending Israel.
It was not great,
but it was not like the flag wearing at right wing event Fetterman that he is now. Like he's completely off the fucking deep end. Like this is way more extreme. Like when he first came out, it seemed more like he was trying to avoid getting AIPAC money used against him, which is what I mean.
That's
a lot of Democrats, a lot of progressives lose elections because of AIPAC money. So it seemed like he was trying to avoid that. But no, this is just like he is insane. He's an insane person.
Yeah. And also he like it is stupid. Like it's a little bit of everything, right? I think it's on my thumbnail for this. It's is he dumb or is he racist? I genuinely believe it's both. I think he is deeply uninformed when it comes to South Africa. I don't think he knows a single thing about South Africa. And he's also deeply uninformed when it comes to Israel-Palestine, because after Israel started the siege and they announced collective punishment, he did this this event with one of the Pod Save America guys. I'm not sure which one. And he was talking about how, hummus. And like, is he saying hummus? Like, he had never like even heard of Hamas before. Like that was the impression that I got. And people thought that I was making fun of him when I was bringing up the way he pronounced Hamas, but I was trying to highlight how he doesn't know, like he's literally uninformed here.
He doesn't know a thing, but they have him as the expert on the matter, and they're going to put him at the
guy.
They're going to have him literally preaching and telling folks what's going on and how South Africa and all these people should sit this one out. And because like, how are you the expert on this matter? And these are the look how he's pronouncing some of the things. And we've I've had to get corrected when it first came out because how to pronounce some of these things. I had to get educated on it. Now, people that swear they're about the matter, it's telling. But they're still going to keep him where he's at. They're still going to trust his word, and they're still going to have him appear every chance they can get for a commentary.
Yeah, I agree with your point, though, about the shame on us, though, because one thing that's so telling that I was reminded of is that when he was the mayor of Braddock, I could be mispronouncing that. I'm uninformed about what the fuck, how you pronounce that that city. But when he was the mayor, he pulled a gun on a jogger. It was a black jogger.
That's where it got buried a little bit.
Yeah. And so like now, when you look at all of the details, like you could see, oh my God, why did we overlook this, or did we know about this but we couldn't fight past the cognitive dissonance?
It was the greater good, right? It's like
stop
Oz. We must swallow that he might have a little Zimmerman in him.
Yeah, these things are like we're desensitized to these type of stuff because it's happened before, and like that's something else could happen. Our ADHD kicks in, and then we're like, okay, something's happening over here. That man's building his whole empire, his evil empire on the side. We done missed it. And now we trying to, spin the block. That man already got like 6 mansions on it. So it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like every day that we close our, there's just someone else that is evil that pops out of nowhere. And that swore up and down that they were for the right cause. They're on the right side of things. But I'm telling you, once they get, once they use a talking point that the right loves, the right will hold on to them, and they will begin to like make sure that it's money. Like I know it is. It's like they know that their platform can grow that way and all that stuff. If we continue talking points that are against the cause and the right loves it, they'll push you, they'll help you, and that's how you could just easily grift.
Yeah, you can see the headlines already. Fetterman is the best to run for president in 2028 because he can bring together the left and the right. I mean, there's Fox News segments where the anchor is apologizing to John Fetterman because they were wrong about him, and they're showing quotes from him where he's like, "Oh, well, now the left and the right wants me to die. They're rooting for the blood clot." It's like, stop being a drama queen. Like you're turning yourself into a victim. Where it's like they want me to die when we're literally saying, could you not just like cheerfully discuss how you support genocide all the time? Like it's kind of a small ask. Like not be a psychopath as a member of the Senate.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But Mike, he's being a maverick. He's being by falling in line with the vast majority of politicians, somehow being a maverick. And I love how bipartisanship always means moving to the right and going against what the vast majority of people want.
Yes, it does.
Like, what is that bipartisanship? Just going more corporate, more right wing, going against the goods of
from the left
good of
or
people.
Somebody with a progressive view saying something slightly like conservative or for the right, something that they're gonna be like, wow. Now, this is what we're talking about when we're saying bringing the right and the left together. And it's like, no, this man is literally, he's saying everything wrong. This is going to be super problematic. Who does this help? Where's the proof? Like, his talking points are helping who? Like, no. But they're going to say, this is what we call patriotic.
Have we ever seen a Republican try to go left on anything ever?
One time when I said, what's her name? Liz Cheney, when she came out of like the woodworks after 99 years. I feel like
Trump.
I don't know. Yeah,
I wouldn't call that moving left. Trump. I would call that acknowledging Trump tried to steal the election. Yeah. That's not like a left wing thing to me. But the right doesn't
acknowledge those things. Like they really, to me, like
that's not policy though. I'm talking like policy. Like,
policy
like you can have a food lunch program if we get more guns. Like, how about guns for babies' meals or something like that? You don't get that offer though.
Never.
I've never seen that on the table.
No, you won't. They'll support guns over babies.
Yeah.
But por qué no los dos is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's sad. And we have this clown who's like vocally supporting Israel at the top of his lungs. And then today we learned that Biden, and bombing.
Congratulations,
and
Americans! You just struck another foreign country.
We did it again.
Don't worry, Obama did it too. So yeah.
It's so frustrating because it's like there's always going to be continuity here. We have no say. You could support Biden, who is pro-bombing and pro-genocide, or you could support Trump, who is pro-bombing and pro-genocide. Like, there's no escape from it. Like, it's it's like our institutions, and in particular the military-industrial complex, is autonomous. Like, it doesn't matter who the president is. Like, I'm to the point where we should just get rid of the office of the presidency, because I mean, they're more harm than good. Just like, okay, if the Senate passes a law after the House passed it, it's done. We don't need the president to sign it. Fuck the president. Like, this office has brought us nothing but devastation and depression and attack democracy. Like, I'm just so over it. Like, it's so disillusioning to see how nothing changes, seemingly, you know?
It's terrible. No matter, and it's like we went through the phase of thinking that okay, if we just get anybody but Trump. Remember that? And it was just like, it's gonna be better. And then it's like, damn.
I do think it's better though in some ways.
Like, I mean, it's better.
It was until the 7th, kind of, you know.
Like,
that after the 7th, everything went to shit.
It's hard to ignore the it's hard to
but
ignore
where he
genocide.
stands right now,
I just can't turn that off.
Yeah. It just, I don't know where to. There are things, I mean, there's policy no matter who it is. You could love the president. I mean, when Barack Obama was president, as I began to learn about, there's some policy I didn't agree with at the time, right? But I love him. I loved, like,
he's an
it ain't
incredible
gonna be everything
orator.
that you
Maybe
like
one of the
about the person that's leading. But right now, to see how our president is how he's handled one of the most biggest situations right now with Israel and Palestine, and how he's stood by, in my opinion, the wrong side of things, and supported a lot of things and has blood on his hands, in my opinion. But
I wouldn't even say
like
that's your opinion. That's objective
it's
reality.
True.
Like,
yeah,
if you support genocide, then I guess it's the right position for you. But if you don't support genocide, then it's not the right position.
But just knowing all of our presidents so far have been just not, and it sucks because now it's like, who in this next run, who are we gonna look to? What are we gonna expect? The people that are running at the top are people that we've already seen do what they can do, and what do we do here?
Mike and Binder? Dream ticket?
Yeah.
Is that still an option? We got...
I forgot. I'm working for them. My bad. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm considering suspending my campaign because.
Oh God, no! Abandon all hope.
Reconsider.
It's like a Boeing 747 plane door. What's going on?
I mean, this is why I think it's important to reframe the conversation as the presidency is yes, it's important. It is not the way that change will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Change will only happen from workers, will only happen from the bottom up. Actual change. For me, when it comes to whoever's at the top, but whether it's in the U.S., Canada, wherever, that is more about harm reduction, and again, even in this case, it's hard. But I think it's important to also point out there is one candidate who literally will never have another election if he wins. He wants to steal democracy. So it's not fun to try and try at this moment in time try and say one person should not be in power because the other person, or because that person is worse when there is a genocide going on and the current person in power is enabling and helping and funding that genocide and
lying about it and doing apologia. I mean, you can't even make the argument that he's like, well, he's just doing what an American president would do. It's like, no, he's going the extra mile. He's going the distance, he's running cover for this shit.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw this out there. This is what Hassan says. He's watching CNN. I've been watching CNN since the U.S. coalition started bombing Yemen, and they haven't mentioned once that the blockade was implemented due to the genocide in Gaza. They have, however, talked about how this bombing campaign is an act of de-escalation. I mean, we are living in 1984.
An act of de-escalation.
How? Oh, and to his credit, Bay Photo actually says the same thing now with the super chat. I can bring that in really quick since it's relevant. Yeah, some CNN talking heads called the Houthi airstrikes in Yemen a de-escalation tactic. Warhawks are insane. Make it make sense. Yeah, I mean, it's like we are like I was thinking about this the other day that this is I get that now since the right has learned about George Orwell's 1984, they overuse it, and it's kind of a meme at this point. But it really feels like we're living in George Orwell's 1984, where everything is opposite of what there's it's so I feel like I'm crazy sometimes,
Here's what I'll say very quickly, that Joe Biden did dramatically reduce drone strikes. Like, just the numbers plummeted once he came into power, and that's something that you can just like directly point at. Here's a difference in foreign policy that's striking between two different individuals that actually help people, in other countries not get bombed by the United States war machine. That's good, right? But then when it comes to this, all the people I think right now who are saying that Joe Biden is just doing what any president would do, I would say directly after October 7th, I agree with you in that, like, of course, the U.S. is strong allies with Israel. They're going to show support. It was a horrifying event that happened. All this stuff happened. There's a massive tragedy. You're going to see, like, Israel has the right to defend itself. We support Israel, all that kind of stuff. But then it turned out that the person who everyone was really afraid of having this kind of like, oh, no checks and balances, kind of, I can do whatever I want. He seems to be far right and really, really hates Palestinians. He went so much fucking harder than anyone probably thought he would, even though every side, like, the writing was on the wall for this. They've been like every single like member of the the cabinet who has been saying that, like, yeah, we are for ethnic cleansing, we are for forced displacement, we need to move them into Egypt, we need to move them out, we need to all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he just fucking, now it's like, Biden, you have bit off so much more than anyone. Like, this will be part of his history forever. Like, I'm always going to remember this moment where Joe Biden not only stood behind this, but like was lying on the behalf of that administration, was spreading the propaganda, was being like, oh, apparently there's a Hamas headquarters under the tunnel, and we can't trust the real numbers coming out. That's Hamas state run and all that stuff.
That was nauseating. Yeah, bypassing Congress to give them or sell them more weapons. And the thing that is so infuriating to me is that there are liberals who will say, well, what can Biden do? He's not Netanyahu. He can only exert influence. I'm sorry. That is so naive and just ahistorical, because and there's an article in The Nation by Trita Parsi that breaks it down in one paragraph. And basically what he says is, when Israel was bombing Lebanon, President Ronald fucking Reagan picked up the phone call and demanded that they stop and refused to give them cluster munitions, and said that what they were doing was a Holocaust. And 20 minutes later, then Prime Minister Begin stopped. All it took was a phone call 20 minutes later. And that's not to say that like the same exact thing would happen in this circumstance if Biden did that, but the fact that he's not even trying, like there's no actual attempt.
He said nothing.
Yeah, that's what makes it so
bad.
Because
he doesn't want, he's on the other side of it.
So it's a choice, exactly.
Yeah, it's not that he's done nothing because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to do it.
Right.
We see how hard he's gone in the beginning. With the talking point about Israel and how they need our support, and what he's willing to give as an ally, and us as a country, how we need to be standing beside them. Meanwhile, online, we're watching dead bodies, babies' bodies, just be demolished, and whole towns.
You see that CNN headline? The one that was like 10 kids every single day lose one or two limbs in Gaza every day, like 10 kids every single day.
And have surgery
wake up in the morning,
anesthesia,
and have surgery without
Jesus
anesthesia.
Christ.
Yeah.
But that's one number that is often gets lost in this is the amount of people who survive, and just what's done to them, and like
the trauma, those babies shaking uncontrollably. I
can't. Seared my retinas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys see this?
Knowing that the president is standing right beside the people who are doing this, that just doesn't sit well with me. It just doesn't. I don't know.
Especially because we're paying for it. That's what makes it like, it's not like I would be okay with it if we wasn't financing it, but the fact that we're paying for it makes it so much more outrageous, because it's like
that literally adds to, it's like there's a list of things amongst just him doing this and supporting them, but a lot of what he's doing, how he's supporting them, the talking points he's putting out, the little jokes or bad talking points that he says. I don't like any of it. I just don't see it as presidential. I don't see it as leadership. I just don't. I don't support him. I just can't.
Did you guys see this video of Anthony Blinken responding to South Africa's case for genocide against Israel? And in the same video, I mean, you're going to see it here. In the same video, first he says it's meritless, and then he goes on to discuss the various ways that there's a genocide being committed, like without saying genocide. It's incredible to watch this.
We believe the submission against Israel to the International Court of Justice distracts the world from all of these important efforts. And moreover, the charge of genocide is meritless. It's particularly galling, given that those who are attacking Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, as well as their supporter Iran, continue to openly call for the annihilation of Israel and the mass murder of Jews. On this trip, I came to Israel after meeting with the leaders of Turkey, Greece, Jordan, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. All of those leaders share our concern about the spread of the conflict. All of them are committed to using their influence, using the ties that they have to prevent it from escalating, to deter new from opening. In addition, all express grave concern about the dire humanitarian situation and the number of civilians killed in Gaza. We know that facing an enemy that embeds itself among civilians, who hides in and fires from schools, from hospitals, makes this incredibly challenging.
I just got to pause there for a second. This idea that, let's say that's the case. Let's say, Hamas is hiding within the civilian population. They're in school. Is that how you go after a criminal at a school? Is by bombing the entire school? Is that what the U.S. does when there's a mass atrocity taking place at a school? Do they just bomb the entire school? Does this make any sense at all? In any other situation, do you kill an entire population of civilians to get the person you're going after? No. So how, he understands what's going on here. Anthony Blinken, he's smart enough to know there is clearly a genocide being committed. The issue is they have taken the position where they're going to ally with Israel, regardless of that. And maybe in his mind, he's thinking, this is our way to try and put pressure on Israel to ensure that they don't go, too far. But I would say, at this point, what's too far? They've clearly crossed the line a long time ago. So I'm not sure what this relationship is doing. The only way to stop Israel is their allies have to stop them. The U.S. has to stop funding them. They have to stop sending them bombs.
Yeah.
They cannot continue enabling, they cannot continue supporting this fully and expect Israel to stop what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we need to do BDS too.
The U.S. has a history of genocide. It's who we are. Unfortunately, we've killed off indigenous people and Black folks and just anybody, whoever stands in our way, regardless of the land was ours, as we made songs saying that it was ours and won. And then just killing people is our type of thing, killing people off. So I don't see how they're not going to support. But of course, because they're an ally, very strong and powerful. Israel's strong and powerful ally. That's how they're seen. U.S. doesn't want the smoke. Palestine to them is nothing. People of Gaza are nothing. So to demolish them for whatever Israel says, U.S. will back it. And as we are looking at with our naked eyes what's actually going on, they're telling us to look at it from a different point of view. And U.S. needs to stick beside Israel, because they don't want that relationship to break. And that's what it is. It's selfish. U.S. has a history of being that. They're not going to do it. I don't really know. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate as an American, a Haitian American at that, to see how the U.S. is supposed to be this big melting pot and support and all this other stuff. But with policy, with their history, with everything, they're falling right in line just by supporting what Israel is doing. It sucks. Israel should be, the U.S. should be doing the opposite. We would hope, especially with our president, more standing beside what's right, calling out Israel, calling for a ceasefire, not a humanitarian pause, giving them people a rest from getting killed or an arm blown off for 4 hours or whatever. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
The strategic value of Israel is more important to them than any lives. I mean, just last night at the debate with Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, she said something to the effect of, America doesn't need, or Israel doesn't need America. America needs Israel. And really, Joe Biden has said, not the same exact thing, but he's echoed that same sentiment. If Israel didn't exist, we'd have to create one. That's how valuable they are. So, it's sad, but that's the way it is. And the biggest fear that I think a lot of us have had for a while is that this would get us embroiled in, a broader conflict in the Middle East. And we're seeing that today, it's officially happening. And Biden isn't just begrudgingly getting dragged along. He's teaming up with the right-wing government of the UK to bomb Yemen illegally without the consent of Congress. So it really is, it's spiraling out of control, and the Biden administration has chosen to be ride or die with Israel, and it's the latter. They're dying, right? I mean, Biden is basically ruining his reelection chances because of this. And I can't see how he makes up for that. I mean, there was a poll from a couple of days ago. I can't remember who the pollster was, but in Michigan, he's down by 8 points, and he's lost Arab Americans. I mean, that is a crucial swing state. Like, it's inconceivable to me that he makes all of this up by November, which means that Biden is going to lose, Trump's going to get in, further pour gasoline on the fire that Israel started, make things exponentially worse, and we all have to basically face the consequences of like Biden's mishandling of this, as do Palestinians, of course, you know. And like, I don't want to push this idea that there's this equivalence between Democrats and Republicans, because I think that's harmful. There's absolutely differences. But on this matter in particular, there is no difference, unfortunately, right? The policy,
at least in terms of leadership.
Exactly. I think that the rhetoric will change. Like, Trump will be more harsh and hawkish publicly, but they'll do the same thing essentially. You know, so that's what's so frustrating. That doesn't mean, though, that like there aren't differences between Biden and Trump on other issues. Like, as somebody with trans family, I'm horrified that like the next administration is going to ban gender affirming care for trans youth just with the stroke of a pen. And Biden doesn't have a way to address that. Biden's primary opponents don't even have a way to address this. So it's just like we're kind of sleepwalking into a disaster regardless of what happens. And it's just a matter of like, how bad is it going to be? Like, really bad or like apocalyptic bad? And it just kind of feels like, you know, what do you do in this situation in terms of like, how do you live your life when there's so much horrible things happening and things that will happen that are terrible? It's just, you know, I think that it's a really important time for self-care for all of you watching. And I'm preaching to the choir, myself included, because it's really, you know, it's bleak.
Yeah. I mean, it's been bleak. It's going to continue to be bleak. We watched when the whole world stopped for a second, and our leadership was under Donald Trump over here. So that was what we thought was an apocalypse at the time, and they weren't even handling it correctly. People were dying, and they were talking about, listen, people were dying, and we didn't even know how to really be safe to save ourselves. So we were going by what the CDC was saying, and people were fighting nurses for telling people to wear a mask. That's what we were going
or
through.
wash their hands.
Like, and wash
people how to wash your hands.
Like, Trump was like, yeah, that's my people.
I
Go
don't
ahead,
wash
set
my
it up.
hands.
You ain't
That's
gotta wear
gay.
no mask.
Don't
He
make
was
me wash my
promoting
hands.
things that were so dangerous people were dying from. Like, I don't know what it was, a crazy time, and I can't believe that we lived it under his leadership. We can't believe some of us didn't make it out, and some of us did.
Right.
And now we're going through this, and this is traumatic for us to see and watch, and just to know our leader, whom we thought, you know, will hold it down for us. And of course, it's been tough, and he had a lot of things to clean up, but dang, this right here, to see our leaders like just be in this way and support what's wrong, that was a blow, a huge blow. Don't even care about my loans no more. I mean, I care. This is more important. So
since we're on the issue of stupid people, I have to share this clip. And this, like, I know we've been seeing clips like this for like 6 years now, but my God, the level of stupidity on display with these two Trump supporters is unfreaking believable to me. So NBC interviewed, I guess, these two people you're going to see
at a caucus event in Iowa.
Oh, I saw your video on this, David.
I'm being indicted for you. My first thought went to, well, Jesus Christ died for my sins. Jesus died for me. And so it connects in my brain that way, like, okay, he's doing this for us as a country to make the changes we need to make, and he's the target where we don't have to be.
Girl, no.
Like, the target?
It's a no for me.
How does this make any sense?
You see what I'm talking about? That's why, see, I don't know. See, that's why I'm like, I can't, You know, and I tell you guys all the time, I'm saved and I know. So when she's saying this, no. To compare Trump to Jesus, this is a man that held the Bible upside down. I'm being indicted for you. Baby, no, that's not the same. He's actually
because
done
we
wrong.
all stole the election. So he's taking the bullet for all of us because we all, as president, stole or tried to steal the election. Like, what?
He really did the thing. He did all the things. He was wrong. Okay, like
it's
I don't
so
know.
dumb.
So, girl, if you think
he's not
being indicted for you,
he's not Job.
It's just none of it.
He's like a pillar of salt.
Trump is so obviously the most selfish man alive. How could anybody possibly think he's doing he won't do things for his kids? Like, why would he care about you?
He's like Jesus. But he's like Jesus.
But he's like Jesus.
You know.
Like, girl, what I'm telling you is the stupidity. It never ends. Are we shocked still? Because it's these people who are coming out from.
Honestly, yes. I am a. How does she put on her clothes in the morning? How does someone that stupid? How does someone that stupid put clothes on in the morning? I don't understand.
They do it, honey. They do it. It's a cult. It's a cult. So if they worship Trump and whatever he says, they will follow him off of a cliff. And he'll get a helicopter to come swoop him right up before he hits the ground because he already had something connected to his back, and everybody else is dead. They're dumb. Like there's that type of stuff. Dumb. That man is doing wrong, literally in your face, and you're interpreting it as something good. He's getting indicted for you. That man walked in, took a mugshot, and he's free to go. Baby, if you got indicted baby, we don't never see you again, sweetie. Right. I can't. He wouldn't walk with you on the street. Jesus is walking with poor folks, right? And he wouldn't do that for you.
No, he wouldn't do that.
He's going to throw paper
He
towels.
would hang out with prostitutes, though. We know this to be true.
He's assaulting women. Like, girl, back. That's not, like, I just can't. I can't. They're crazy. He's God to them, and he likes that God complex. And he's dumb.
That's sad. But
they love it.
Sad of all people to like give it up for.
Oh,
Trump,
yeah, no.
really? That's your cross to bear.
They say he's Jesus Jr.
Can't they find like a different Messiah? Can't they find someone who doesn't want to steal an election? Like, just love somebody else.
They have to make something up and say that he's so great and he's about world peace. And if you really look into what he's doing, he's saving babies, okay? Because he's against abortion.
Why can't they apply that to like a quarterback or like, some athlete they love? Why does it have to be Donald Trump?
I mean,
he plays the greatest hits for them, right? If you listen to some of his rhetoric about Christians, he's saying, we're going to stop the persecution back when I'm in power. And like one of the main things that you learn if you grew up in the church is that like you're persecuted. Everybody is coming after you. They've got the knives out for Christians. And so like he doesn't know anything about the religion. Like his Corinthians. But he knows what they want to hear, right?
Remember that video when he was asked about like what his favorite passage or whatever was from the Bible, and he's like, all of them.
It's him holding the Bible upside down. With just like he doesn't there, and he went to the black church. He was clapping off beat, and it was just like
it was the worst thing ever.
He was just like he didn't even know how to move. He said the spirit hit him, and I'm like, the
spirit did not hit him.
They play it. But here people are really believing that this man is a believer. They're really dumb, but it's easier for them to believe this lie instead of to actually face the truth. And they'll continue to walk on by and act like they don't hear what he's actually saying, what he's promoting, what he's done. They don't remember January 6th. And they'll tell us to forget about everything else.
That's because they banged their head after they fell off the wall.
Yeah.
They fell off the wall and banged their head, so they forgot the whole thing.
Boy, that's true too. They were hurt.
Are we allowed to make Jan 6 jokes?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Has enough time passed? It's not too soon.
I think that the day of it happened, we could joke about it because that shit was fucking funny.
Jokes and what were jokes ever taboo about Jan 6? What jokes can you tell about Jan 6?
They tried. Like the liberals, the centrists, even the right wingers, because they're like, we lost a life that day. Was someone trying to crawl through a window at the cops? Like,
Yeah. We're not allowed to joke about Ashley Babbitt.
Lost a life, but look what they were doing. He was like, sorry to that person. They should have never been there. I was like,
yeah,
oh
I
my
know.
God. It was a lot.
You know what's wild is it's switched now, by the way. They now think that they went from like, okay, so this is a revolution to this was Antifa to now the whole thing is a CIA, FBI like plot, when they don't realize like, yeah, the weird thing that happened was that both the cops and MAGA were like, oh, we don't actually hate each other, but what do we do? That's what was happening. But they're like, that's because they were on the same side. The whole thing was an inside job and they were being let in. It's like, no, they were just like, we've never fought before. It's like, you're my hero. You're my hero. You know,
Weird.
I agree with you that the election was stolen, but I'm supposed to defend the Capitol. What do I do? It's that button meme, right?
They kept asking them to join them. Did you hear them? They're
Maybe
like, join us.
I'm on both sides of it. I want to protect the Capitol, but I do agree that the election was stolen. If I just stand right here on the steps, baby, no, you too.
Just open the door.
Yeah, maybe I just open the door and let them in. I didn't fight. I was peacefully protesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how they wanted to say it. I cannot believe that day happened. I watched it on television and it was very disturbing. See, we were already going through COVID. We didn't know if we could leave the house. People were still protesting about George Floyd. And then we had people out there on January 6th. We were fighting for Breonna Taylor. It was too much, you guys. And January 6th, then people got slapped on the wrist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Back to David's point about people being stupid. So I don't know why I chose to do this to myself, but I listened to it was a January 6th debate featuring the Krasensteins versus
you watched that?
Destiny
That happened? Oh, God.
versus Alex Jones and Glenn Greenwald. And yeah, I was listening at the gym, just kind of like off and on, kind of paying attention. And it brought me to this conclusion that like we're doomed. Because like Alex Jones was just like, and I tapped out around this point. You know, Destiny, I forgot the point that Destiny was making, but like, you know, disagreements aside with him and Krasenstein's, like they were just spitting facts. And something that Destiny said, Alex Jones replied to, oh, but you got the vaccine, and then kind of turned into like a mini vaccine debate. And I'm just like, oh my God. And for some reason, it's like God himself put the thought in my head of George Carlin's quote where he's like, the stupidest person that you've heard, like imagine most of the country is like half as smart as that person. Like I'm butchering the quote, but you know what I'm talking. Like it just made me feel so hopeless because it's like, oh my God, like this is not just like Alex Jones being Alex Jones. We're no longer in the situation where he's an outlier. Like this is kind of representative of a significant portion of the electorate.
Oh, yeah,
and like if you just listen to my uncle, some of my family members, it's like Alex Jones kind of sounds smarter than them. So I really feel like we're doomed.
Wow.
You know, because you know, as crazy as Alex Jones is, like he at least has the ability to like
string a sentence together.
He could string a sentence together, and there's a point there. Like it might be weird and mushy and amorphous, and he makes these logical leaps based on like
the water is turning the frogs gay. That makes total sense. Yes.
But like there is like a bit of coherency there. Whereas there's no coherency to like, you know, the rank and files. And it's not like my family and people who I know who are MAGA are representative of all of them, but I mean, they're pretty fucking dumb, right? So it's just, it makes you feel so like.
Sorry to Mike's family.
Yeah. Oh no. If they're watching, they already know how I feel.
They watch every episode though. So how's that?
I'm sure.
Maybe we're the problem.
Sometimes they'll question like, "Hey, you said this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I did."
Yeah, you guys are stupid. You guys are dumb. It's like okay.
I just don't know how you like. There's this sense that like I don't know. Maybe like 10 years ago, I thought the number of people who are too far gone was maybe like 5%.
No.
You know, people who you can't have an argument with them or get them to your side because there's just no rationale. They're just operating on a different plane of logic and exist mentally in a different dimension. Now, I think that number is probably like 45, maybe 50%. Like I
feel like it's over because it's not only people with in that kind of thought process that you just said. Like you can't even argue. There's no rationale. There's no like agree to disagree. It's not only in politics. Like if you go under your favorite and pages comment section, people are arguing and none of them have taken the time to go read a full article, to actually get information, to have a conversation after reading it. They're just going off of a headline that this blog page put up and they're fighting about it. Nobody has any rationale. Like, you know, love you, brother. Like, I'm just going to go off like Mike's energy. My brother ain't dumb. But we were, you know, talking about, something that came out, and I said this in a conversation with somebody else too, another journalist, and I'm like, this whole thing about citizen journalism can be very hurtful, especially on TikTok. Random people are coming out and making up stories, and people are going with this. So my brother was asking me, he's like, let me see the TD Jakes thing that you saw. I know that it's true because it was all over TikTok. And I'm like, yeah, but they were going off of documents that Cassie put out. And if you go through those documents, what they said that's not what was in there. So if you can, I'm pretty sure there's some kind of tie there, but it wasn't this. And the fact that you guys are going off of this thing is problematic. But people were arguing. There was no way you could have said, hey, but if you look at page 6 of, they're going to be like, no, what I see. And that's what I feel like arguing with people who are right-wing people, Donald Trump supporters. You can tell them, hey, no, what he said is actually going to hurt you because that policy, no, you don't know anything. That's my president. That's the argument. That's the argument, y'all. That's it.
There's no rationalizing.
No, they don't go try to get any information. And I would love it if they read it and then got the forms, an opinion after reading it. And then we could have an argument. You tell me where you're coming from, and then and we can leave it be like, we read it. We got it. This is what I got from this. Is what you got from. No. A lot of people just go off of what Trump says, and that's Bible. No research, no nothing. They go off of what their right-wing leader, local leader says. There's nothing. And they don't understand why their community can't get basic things, or why things are so expensive, or why the living, because you voted for this person only because they were conservative. But you didn't check on their policies. You didn't do it. And now you're hurt. Now your community is hurt. Now your children can't go to that school. Your child can't go to that school. Now they go to this grocery store no more. It's super expensive. You can't stand, your mortgage is too high. You didn't know. Because you didn't want to go research, and you did not want to go get the correct information. So this is where we at right now. People don't like to read.
But I learned that Bud Light is the reason for all my problems.
Right. See, that's because of Bud Light.
Weren't they trying to connect? I think it was like New York Post had like an article where it was like they were trying to connect. What was her name again?
Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah, Dylan Mulvaney, to like all beer sales being like,
the New York Post did that. Yeah, and they're like,
what?
The response was so bad that it's decreased. Yeah, domestic beer sales by this percent. And I was like, no, the one social media post didn't change like the consumption habits of an entire country. Actually, Anheuser-Busch, the value of their stock is more valuable now than it was a year ago. So the boycott really didn't do much for that.
Interesting.
They were taking their F-150s on TikTok and backing it up on Budweiser. I would never drink this again. And like, if they're wiped in the back with like a shotgun, kids holding little guns. And I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, this is
no. You know what is so sad to me? It's not like, when I say everybody is dumb, like a lot of people are just like, I don't think that they're defective intellectually. Like, I think that there's just like, there's no curiosity anymore, right? Everybody just wants to feel like they are infallible, and they don't want their beliefs to be challenged.
Yeah.
And we're all in an echo chamber to an extent, right? Like it or not. But like, there's just like, when it comes to Trump supporters, like there's just,
correct.
It's not just like, oh, I refuse to like budge from my position, I'm going to dig my heels in. It's like, no, I'm in a literal fucking cult right now, and we have a deity. Don't you dare tell me otherwise. And it's frustrating because like we live in a society, guys, not to do the meme, but like, how do we go forward? Like, how do we, like, maybe you can't, like, I just don't know. It's so frustrating because this is not necessarily something that I think that like historians and political scientists are able to account for, right? Like, we're in a new age where like there's social media now, there's different things that we're dealing with, climate change, so we have like a time limit to when we have to get our shit together that we're running out of. So it's just frustrating, right? Because like it's also irritating to me that we all have mini computers with infinite information with us all the time, and we're dumber, more uninformed than ever, when in theory we should be like peak intellectual, like fucking wearing fedoras, walking around talking about philosophy.
Reading is so hard for people. I look on, like, I had to stop, like I said, following the Shade Room, but I tend to go back to see what people are talking about. After I read something and I know the news, I'll go to the shade room and see what these people are talking about. And I'm like, damn, they so dumb. Look at this. You see there, it says the New York Times article. Go to it. Go to it. Go read it. Because y'all in this comment section said, see, I knew. And I knew. You didn't know. And you're wrong. And
they're not going to read New York Times.
Embarrassing.
Propaganda.
I know, but even whatever article it may have came out, there could be a video. Because what I see is a lot of these pages just for views, just to garner more views or whatever. They also post up just the clip. I didn't like when recently Angela Bassett had gotten an honorary Oscar, right? And so congrats to her. Regina King, who we haven't seen in a long time since her son committed suicide. We haven't seen her in a long time. She was the one to present Angela Bassett with the award. And when she seen her out of excitement and love, she gave her a hug after the beautiful words that Regina told her before presenting it to her. She gave her a peck on the lips, and it wasn't anything sexual or whatever. And it was so quick. But what those pages and blogs did, they put it up and they said Regina and Angela share a kiss as she presents her with the Oscar, and they just had the still there. You would have thought they was making out. You would have thought they was just like, it was. And I'm like, no, because I seen it and it was just like loving. Sometimes I'm with my mom, when she's so excited, she'll just grab my face and kiss me. Not making out with me, not nothing. It's just like a endearing thing, knowing what that woman went through and she showed up for you in this time. But the comment section was like, they're trying to put the gay agenda on us.
Lesbians.
They done got to Angela, and they done got to Regina. See, this is what I'm talking about. Black women can't even. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
I saw one today from Chaya Raychek, where she. Again, another
with the stewardesses.
Yeah, the steward posts a photo, and it's like 4 female stewardess on a plane, being like, "I know what they're trying to do," and it's like, "What? What are they trying?"
They're making fun of us to our faces now.
It's ridiculous.
I actually didn't know what she was talking about at first. I'm like, is it just that there's 4 females? I'm trying to understand.
Honestly, I didn't either. I saw someone else quote. That's how I saw it. If I had just seen her tweet, I would have no idea what she's talking about. But that's exactly, see, that's working on you. That's exactly how it works. You don't even notice how they're brainwashing you.
We're doing the discourse right now.
Yeah. No, it really is that way. And then people are taking photos of random people and then saying this person was mean to me because I asked for water and they told me I had to wait till I sat down on the plane to get water. And this is the service. And then they're at Delta. This is who you have serving on your plane. And it's like people have audacity. They're not smart. Wow. And they're all entitled. And this is the world we're living in right now. It's very unfortunate, but we have to be the ones to combat that as best as we can. I'm not saying don't enjoy a good time, but when we know things is just ain't right, like the arguments, and I will not argue. Somebody told me, hey, let's sit and talk about politics. No, I'm not going to talk about that with you. I'm not about to sit here and your argument. You ain't got no research, no nothing about it. And I'm not going to sit here, waste my breath, get upset.
You got to do the heavy lifting too.
Yeah. Blood pressure to the sky because I decided to have a conversation with you who isn't informed at all.
Mm-hmm. So even if you talk, even if there's just one of your friends who is pretty liberal, they don't really follow politics. If you try to talk about politics with them, it will be infuriating. Because there's so much that people pick up just from headlines or what they hear people saying, that it's hard to not have your perception about them be changed. Right,
I feel the libs have split into 2 factions. There's the ones where it's they seem to be getting more reasonable and they're asking these questions hey, can you tell me a little bit about how capitalism intersects with slavery and how that worked into blah, blah. You're like, okay, yeah, totally neat. And then there's the other half that are just they just went completely fashy after October 7th.
Yeah.
Israel has a right to defend itself. We must destroy Hamas.
Shocking.
We must destroy terror. I'm like, what is happening?
Right.
We must kill them all. And you're like, holy shit. Oh man.
Yeah. No, that I think that's exactly it. And I think that Alejandra Caraballo put it best when she said that libs are just one moral panic away from being straight up fascist. That is the most truest thing ever. I was talking to somebody over the holidays, during the family get-togethers and stuff like that, and friend get-togethers, I won't say who. And this person is very apolitical, but just drops the whole, yeah, I actually think that Obama is controlling Biden. And I'm like, that's like a real deep, like, Fox News conspiracy theory that they drop. Like,
I hadn't heard that.
Where'd you even hear that from? Like,
I've heard that he's Trump in a skin suit. I heard that one. I didn't know.
Did y'all see? I know this is so random, but did y'all see the movie that he? I'm talking about Barack.
Oh,
the
right.
movie him and his wife put on
I didn't
Netflix.
like it.
You didn't like it?
It was called. Me and David talked about this last week.
Tell
I
me
can't remember the
why,
name.
so I can be. So I can
leave the world behind.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Leaving the world behind. Yeah.
Why didn't you like it? Tell me.
It felt like an M. Night Shyamalan movie or Shyamalan movie. Yeah, it felt like one of those films for the like. I found it very silly for a long time, and I was like, I know why this could have been clever. I understand what the purpose was with a handful of the things they were doing. And at first I was almost like, oh, this is neat because like Julia Roberts is playing a Karen. And immediately I'm not liking her because I'm like, she's really Karening out right now. But they're doing a play on that because the twist is that it's actually a good idea for her to be protective of her kids in this situation because of the like, but then the whole thing just derails and got weirder and worse. And so, like, it was one of those films I didn't care about anybody. I was just sitting back. I was like, everyone can explode and I'll be fine. You know, I'll enjoy the explosion. So
I enjoyed it as just like I'm not thinking too hard about it. Like it was like it was like a solid like 6 out of 10 or like 7 out of 10 for me. Like it was enjoyable enough to finish. It went by quicker than I thought it would. A lot of I enjoy movies that end quickly, that feel like they're quick. I hate long movies. So if your movie feels short or feels like a good length, then immediately it's like at least 6 out of 10. But it was, I thought it was fine. I mean, I wouldn't watch it again, but I enjoyed it enough.
Yeah, I liked it for what it was. But I said this last week too. I felt like it was really cheap. Like they were trying to make, like they just hinted at like what was going. I'm trying not to like spoil it, but like they hinted at what was going on, but didn't like really flesh it out and explain it. It was just kind of like cowardly, like, oh, something's happened, and we'll let you kind of fill in the blanks as to what's happening. Here's a hint. It's like, no, don't like actually give me some more details. And the way that it ended was infuriating to me. It was the dumbest way to end a movie. I literally was like, what the fuck? And then I saw Obama's name come up as executive producer, and I got even more mad. You didn't know
before you watched it?
I had no idea. No,
Okay.
I didn't know that either.
Okay, you didn't know either. Okay, so when I knew that he was a part of it, I'm like, let me support. And then when I'm like, well, what they know? Is this stuff that they know? Like, is this what happening? Like, I gotta protect myself. Are these things that we should be getting ready for? See, I get crazy in my head. I start piecing together things, and I'm like, you know, should we start looking at like places that got stuff to make sure? And but the thing is, it was the beginning. It really pissed me off. Like you said, Lance, I was like, okay, white lady,
could be clever.
This ain't yours. This ain't yours. So I don't understand why in my own home I can't. And that was bothering me the whole time because it was still giving entitlement. And no matter what, they were afraid to offend these people. And I didn't like that because the whole movie. And then there was that weird part where they were like embracing after dance. That was, I'm like, now why would you?
I know what you're talking about.
I don't get it.
Out of place.
This is so weird. I don't know. It's making me uncomfortable.
That was a weird scene. Yeah.
So I
really enjoyed the song though. I haven't heard that in a while.
I was like, okay, she off beat. I don't know why she's on the 2, but he's on the 1 and the 3. I don't know what's happening, but they getting down. And then I thought, okay. And then it was like, it got weird because I'm like, why is this moment happening? Like, I don't know. But every second I was waiting for something because it was like doom, doom, doom. So I'm like, I'm anticipating something to happen and it didn't.
You want to know what's funny about that is it was coming on. I was watching it with my husband and my in-laws, and I started singing it as the song came on. Because like, oh my God, that's like my fucking childhood. Yeah. And then my husband was like, is this the Why You Always Lying song? And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my God, that's how he knows it. I totally forgot about that.
That's a real song? Yes.
Yeah.
A real song.
He knows the viral.
It's so funny. Yeah. It's like, oh my God. Then that song was stuck in my head. I'm like, why the fuck you lying?
Yeah. Man, that was a good video too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very turned off by the character in the beginning as well for the entitlement and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and also I hated her kids. I felt like her kids were just so stupid, like the dumbest kids on the planet.
I'm sick of them. I'm like, girl, you can't watch it. I don't give a damn. Like the world, something's happening, and you talking about a show that's too grown for you.
I gotta see Friends.
Like,
how does it end? I'm gonna die if I don't see it. Shut the fuck up, okay?
I just figured she was like on the spectrum. Like I'm like, she's a kid, whatever. She's has this obsession with Friends. Like that's whatever.
Show.
And she, you know, at the end of the day. But this is just like I felt like I didn't like how they were just throughout the whole thing, while the other family was still struggling in every way you can think and imagine. After they worked hard to even protect themselves from this, that man had knowledge and everything, and the white family was still winning this whole time. That bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
That bothered me. So I'm like, now why? What they know? Because I just need to know what they know.
Well, there are also dynamics that weren't really explored. Like the daughter was like, why are we still sleeping in the basement? They're sleeping like in our rooms. And it was like, yeah, like that is a good question. Like, I get that they rented the house, but I mean, things have changed now. You're in a completely different world. Like, why? Like, and
Could you imagine
they didn't
if like
explore it.
those American rednecks who always like bring their guns outside when they go to talk to strangers and stuff, if they had the Airbnb, they were like, this is our home, we're taking it back.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you can sleep on the floor, but yeah.
And then now that you bring up that, you know, the redneck, what about the random character that was, I forgot his name, the character, but when they went to his house,
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I'm like, now this is just so random. Don't know why the little girl's in the window. I don't know. I just don't know. Like
his character would not have slept in the basement. I'll say that.
What's happening here?
He would have took his bed.
On top of that, now that we're talking about this and my memory's getting jogged, like when he went into the wine cabinet, it showed that there was a gun in the drawer, and they tried to make you sympathize with her character, like there was a reason for her to be skeptical of him, but it's like,
I told you.
No, there never was a reason. Like all Americans got a fucking gun.
I know that was the whole like. It's supposed to be clever.
Rock and Michelle,
Plays
I
on
need
your
y'all to
taboos and
understand.
preconceptions and your
Yeah, because that's a
racism.
lot. What was that? What was that?
Like it
about?
almost felt like apologia for racism, but like racism.
Like, come on now. I didn't understand that part. Were they trying to show that no matter what, white people will be looked at, and you know they will empathize with white people, and no matter what, we have to do that as black people here? I don't know where they were going with that.
I don't honestly don't think they were thinking too much about it. I just
were throwing things together.
Yeah.
They just were throwing things together.
Yes. And now boat smashes into beach.
That's it.
Like that's what I was into. I'm like, oh, why is this boat doing this? Why are these planes falling out of the sky? That was like the extent of my thinking.
I said, oh, this is gonna be good.
And the loud noises.
Oh no, you go to amps. That was the start of the movie.
There was so good. The boat coming in, yeah, and it's not stopping. Wow. But then it was like.
And there's unrealistic things like Kevin Bacon's character having a black friend. 0% chance that kind of a character would have any black friends.
Well, as far as we saw him in that movie, though, apparently he was acting really different than how he normally acts. So maybe normally he's not. He isn't who Kevin Bacon appeared to be.
I've heard nothing but good things about.
Yeah, no, I like
him. As an actor, I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah, no, I hear great things about him, but. In the movie, he didn't even. I'm just like, what is this? Because even he's over here telling this is his friend to these strangers, and in these strangers' face, this white man's literally saying, "Get away from me! I don't know you." Real biblical.
I got my gun. I'm gonna protect my family now. It's like, oh my god, he's gonna say something so racist. I was just like waiting for it, and he did it. But it's like, okay, this is not a believable. Like they're not friends. Like he
didn't know him. He seen him twice. Okay, he didn't know that man. That man coming over here for medicine is getting crazy. And then he was it's the Chinese, or what did he say? And then that was getting racist.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
They were all getting like different messages. Like, yeah. That was I don't know,
maybe it's North Korea. It's like, it's not North Korea. It's not. Shut the fuck up.
It was everybody. It was racist.
We're the baddies, okay? It would be us invading them. Stop.
It was ridiculous. But
the one thing that really made no sense to me was the scene on the beach where I forget who's in that scene, but whoever it was, they see a body, and they're shocked. They see this body. They look up and there's like bodies everywhere. You didn't see the giant mess of bodies that were already there, and the giant the plane that crashed. Like, how did you not see the rest of the beach?
That's what I was saying too. I'm like,
That made no sense at all.
So, and I'm like, did his wife die in that one? In that plane? Like, it was very confusing.
I guess I think it was assumed that she died in some plane. I'm not sure about
They
that
didn't
one.
say because they didn't finish writing it. There's like, we're done with what we've got.
It was a lot of questions.
A lot of movies do that though, where they're just like, this is the end.
Yeah.
You figure out the rest for yourself.
That's
left to interpretation.
Yeah.
That's true, which I don't appreciate, because it's like, okay, you're already immersing us with your imagination and your world. So fill in the blanks. I don't need to bring in my brain, and like, I'm not a creative person. That's why I'm watching your shit. I would make my own fucking movie if I was creative. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to tell me explicitly. Like, don't like, unless you're gonna be like pretty heavy in the insinuation. Don't just like leave it up for interpretation. I hate that about movies. Maybe I'm just not like imaginative enough, but I don't like when they do that. That's why I didn't like Asteroid City, because that whole movie was interpretation, basically. There's no plot to it.
I didn't mind it.
Oh, I hated it. Although I will say, I was on the Vanguard.
Fuck. Oh, okay.
It is, and I asked them about Wes Anderson, and they recommended other Wes Anderson movies because I thought that like the characters and the dialogue was good. And I did watch Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, yeah,
Loved it.
Fantastic Mr. Fox is great too. Yeah.
Loved it.
Are y'all gonna go see the movie that came out? Okay, did you guys see Color Purple?
I did not.
Yes,
no.
the original.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to see the remake.
I don't think I have.
So the
I've seen
original.
I don't know if I want to see the remake.
It's a musical. So if you're not into musicals,
I won't see it then. I can't do
I'm
musicals.
not.
I'm gonna go see
None?
it to run the numbers up.
No.
But there's some drama with that, with Taraji and them. But I'm not gonna get into that. But there's the other movie that's coming out tomorrow, and it's the Book of Clarence, and it has Keith. I think his name is Lakeith Stanfield or something like that.
I love Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah,
in
he's
like
handsome.
more ways than one. Like,
he's a good actor, great actor, and I think it's gonna be great. I don't know what it's about. I've seen clips of it, and I still don't know what it's about. What it's about. I haven't read up on it. I want to be surprised when I go to the movie theater. But there's a song that came out with Lil Wayne, Buju Banton, and somebody else from it, and it's a good song. I said, okay, this sounds like vintage Lil Wayne, and it was like a nice song from the soundtrack. Soundtrack hasn't been complete yet, but that's the first song. So the movie comes out tomorrow, I believe. I want to be surprised. Mind you, I don't know what the movie's about, so I don't know.
Okay,
it looks like it's gonna be good. I don't know if it's like a play on religion, or a book in the Bible. I don't know, but it's called the Book of Clarence. So.
I mean, I could tell you. I just looked it up, but it's okay. I won't tell you.
Yeah, no, say it. It's okay.
Well,
What's it about?
Okay, the Book of Clarence is a 2023 American biblical comedy drama film written and directed by James Samuel and produced by Samuel Jay-Z, and there's more people.
Oh, Jay-Z also produced it?
Well,
apparently,
Jay-Z putting the money up.
Wow.
I can give you more if you want, but
okay.
You should go and see one fresh.
Okay. Okay, but yeah, the song is dope. The one song they dropped with Lil Wayne and Buju, it's a nice vibe. I was working out to it earlier, so yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
It better be a good movie, because they have been disappointing us like nobody's business. These movies, I don't even remember half of the movies that we've watched, because I've never watched so many movies until like COVID season, and mind you, COVID ain't left either.
Right.
But I've watched so many movies and I can't remember them. And I feel like, oh my goodness. So I'll go on Netflix and it'll say, because you watch this. And I'm like, I never watched that. And then I'll play like 5 seconds of it. I'm like, oh yeah, that one. That movie sucked. like it sucked. Yeah, there was so much.
You just purge it from your memory and you forget that you watched it. Oh yeah.
I threw it away. Just put it out of here. Yeah.
That's my parents. They forget they watch movies. They'll like get like 20 minutes into, be like, oh yeah, we saw this.
Yeah.
The movies, I don't know, they're not the best anymore. I hope that the Book of Clarence is good. I want to go to the movie theater and really just sit and enjoy myself for a good matinee or something, and just like watch something good, because these movies have been like, I know Color Purple is going to be, I already know what that's going to give me. I'm probably going to cry, probably going to be whatever, but I want to laugh. I want to have like a good movie that is memorable, because these movies ain't giving what they used to.
I don't watch many movies anymore.
I haven't seen it though.
Seen what?
The new Godzilla movie is supposed to be really good.
Oh yes, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone says it's very emotional.
I do hear it's
really
good.
Yeah, everyone's like the new Japanese Godzilla is like an amazing movie. I know it sounds weird to say, but apparently it's incredible.
Okay.
Mike watched it, said he was great. We talked last week about it.
Okay.
I will check it out.
Oh, Killers of the Flower Moon is really good. Also, shout out to Lily Gladstone for just becoming the first Native woman to ever win for best Golden Globe.
What's the movie name?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Very good book. I read it over the vacation too. Good book, good film.
Okay, let me put that.
Good both.
Well, it's 10. We're out of content. That's it.
Yeah, that's actually good because I have to do a podcast now. I can't stop.
Do you? Gotta do a podcast. Oh, jeez.
Oh, about what?
I don't know. I got invited onto Western Kabuki, so I was like, I love
right now.
Yeah, I said I said it started like 7:20 when we were done. But now that David's calling it early, like, okay, nice. I can actually.
I didn't necessarily call. I'm just saying we're out of content.
No, I think more that we can talk about. But honestly, I wouldn't be mad. I know. Look, Rebecca came late and she want to leave early. I was here. I was here.
We all want to leave.
I won't be mad
secretly.
either.
It's
honestly,
okay.
yeah.
I'm sad. I ain't gonna lie to
back.
you.
I want to finish the
do this
Prince of
without
Persia
being here.
demo. Prince of Persia demo's out. I played
there's
like
a
half of it.
demo?
Oh, it just came out. It's really good. I played like.
Oh, okay.
The reviews are out. Reviews are really good for it. So I'm gonna
how do you
pick
get
it
the
up.
demo? What are you playing it on?
It's on everything as far as I know. I'm playing on
Oh
PS5.
shit! Well, that's what I'm gonna do this weekend. I'm gonna check out that demo.
Lance, what were you saying?
I forgot. It's
I don't know.
Time's a flat circle now.
Hey, look, I know I forget too. See, God, I need to work my mind muscles. Working in corporate, they just take my little brain and they all dumb over there too. That's another dumb place, is corporate. Okay, they just dumb, and I'd be like, "Are you guys in the meeting? Are you guys serious?" Like, and I'll say that too. I'm like, you can't. This can't be serious, and they're like. Rebecca, you're not on mute. I know I'm not on mute. Then I don't hear myself anymore. This is when I'm really upset. And then I don't hear myself anymore. They don't mute me. They don't.
Oh, really?
They mute you?
Yes.
The force mute.
Oh
That sucks.
God.
Yes, because I didn't say anything for a while, and they were just saying the dumbest stuff, and I thought would hurt the employees, and I let them ride with it. And then I thought it was like what they were trying to come up with was going to be. It wasn't good. It wasn't good, and I didn't like it. And I felt like somebody had to speak up, so I did. And then I clarified, and then I'm like, because you guys can't be serious with what you're coming up with. And Rebecca, you're not on mute. I know that.
Do you work in marketing? Did you work in marketing?
No, I actually
Okay.
work in communications, and I used to
work in marketing, and there were meetings where I'm like, what the fuck are you guys
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, why did y'all even put me here? I could have been doing something else. Like, I don't like that, and I don't like what you guys are coming up with. And it'd be dumb. I'm like, who's running this? And then I see who's running it, and I'm like, your picture on here tells me everything that I need to know. like, don't even email me again, person. Like, I hate to be mean. Y'all know I hate to be mean, but they make things that will hurt clients on purpose. And they want me to follow along with that. And I won't.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like all like corporate heads they are inherently stupid. Like they're all NPCs with, pre-written dialogue options, and they can't deviate away from it. Like and they come up with the stupidest things. They're never like, for me, I would have to deal with corporate, like, because I was in stores, like when I did retail and stuff. And like when you get like communications from corporate, or you'd have to be on conference calls, they always come up with the dumbest fucking recommendations. Like just the random off the top of my head examples. When I worked at Blockbuster and we were bought out by Dish Network, and then they wanted us to start selling Dish Network to the Blockbuster customers on the floor. And I'm like, this is gonna just piss people off. They don't want like they're here to rent a movie, not like because they don't
marketing. That's we're doing B2B, all the BS, all the things, and it's like I'm getting cussed out,
right?
Not you.
I love it so much because our district manager, or not the district manager, but one of them under them, it doesn't matter. They came in and they tried to show us how to do it, and they like walked up to a customer and was like, "Hey," with their flyers, like "fuck off," and I was just like, "Oh, yes, that's what you're telling us to do, you dipshit." It's amazing.
It's crazy. And then they'll tell you like I remember when I was working in the Gap on 34th Street, and they would tell me to like sell people things like the credit cards. This person is coming to return something and explaining to me they had to return it, not because it didn't fit, but because they don't have the money and they need it so that they can, because people in New York are very expressive. They're detailed, they will talk, they'll tell you about their life. So, and I'm just like, oh wow, yeah, go ahead, bring it all back. And it's like, and my manager passed by. Did you offer her a credit card?
She has no money.
Like, she's trying to get the money back. She's hungry. Lady, get from off of me. Then I don't offer the credit card. Then I get pulled into the back and I'm told, see, you're not doing things that will actually help you elevate here as a cashier. So I'm not, because you need to elevate. If you want to grow at the Gap, if
you have to lose your humanity.
Right. Yeah. They get disrespected. I'm not doing that. And that's where I get into a lot of trouble when I work in these places, because I'm going to like help the customer, the client, the person. And if I feel like we're creating things that are actually going to be abusive, I'll be that one. And I'll tell you how it's going to be abusive and all of that. And I get in trouble for it a lot. Let's just say that. So yeah,
that's what it is. The incentive structure is just so backwards.
Part that you can't afford is gonna be potentially life affecting. Like if you spiral into endless debt and you're like, oh, I got this super high interest credit card at this random retail outlet because they said I could get a free hat with it. That can fuck your life up.
Yeah, but Rebecca May got a promotion. So
and that's where I work in finance and communication. So you have to understand what I'm seeing all the time and the things that these people come up with daily to abuse people who are already in debt. It's terrible. So I'm watching people and they have us try to communicate with these people in different ways or talk to them or create these programs to assist or to it's really bad, y'all. I wish I can go into it. I always say this on my show. I'm like, dang, when I get out of there, I can't wait to tell y'all what's going on, because I have to, and I hate having to work for these people because this is my livelihood, right? So I know that sometimes I go too far, but I know that if I really, really tell them and deal with them how I want to, I won't have a job. Like I won't be able to, take care of myself. So in that way, though, I try to do what I can, because I'm like, I'm working for evil people, Lord. So like, help me to be a vessel in some way. So I'll be like, now I don't think this is a good idea. And I'll have like a whole thing as to why, and they'll talk about it and they'll be like, well, since Rebecca brought up this point, it's a good point. So we'll look over it like that. Like they're sick of my stuff too. They're sick of my shit. Girl.
So in other words, support Rebecca on Patreon so she can go full time and then we can get the tea.
Yes, please do. Yeah, because I'll be here and I will let y'all know. And once they let me go, I'll be like, yes, and this is exclusive.
That should be a goal. Unlock the tea.
Yes.
Y'all you're gonna want to know the tell all. Y'all gonna
we'll
have
to do a full episode on just like corporate stories.
I will break it down.
You should, if you're not already, you should like start writing things down, just like so you don't forget like things that happen. Just like notes and stuff.
I got it. I'm a journaler, so I definitely.
Oh, good. Nice.
I know. I got things to say, and even something that had to happen in the beginning of COVID that I helped change to help our clients because they were being so nasty and greedy and taking from clients. So I had wrote a whole long thing and they ended up having to change their policy at that time.
Good.
Yep.
Nice.
I was in there. It sure was.
See, you're doing good. You're helping this corporation not be as shitty as they possibly can. Like you are.
Yeah.
You are limiting that ability.
Yeah.
That's good.
And,
you know what would be really fun? On that note, if we did like I would like to just do call-ins in general, but had a call-in show where people had like horror stories of like customer service or corporate jobs, because like those are always so cathartic. Like I remember when I was working, like my longest retail job was Blockbuster, and there were forums called IHateBlockbuster.com, and I would go on them every single day and just like see all the people bitching about it. It felt really good. So I feel like we can maybe give people an outlet in that way.
Yeah, and help them release that because there's trauma. Okay, there's trauma. So maybe like where everybody can come and say, hey, my name is such and such, and I too was abused, mentally by my corporate job or by my retail job. Retail is crazy. Retail is crazy.
Yeah.
But, I'm ready to go. I ain't gonna hold y'all no more, David. I know. I ain't trying to hold you no more, baby.
I don't feel held down at all.
You're the one that wants to get out
of here. I know.
I do too. I'd like to be able to eat something before the podcast. I got to do after this. So.
Well, you all can go. Me and Mike will tackle these super chats.
All right. Yes, please. I love you guys so much.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I happy New Year, happy 2024. I think we're gonna have a really good year here on the show. If you guys don't know already, Saturday morning, watch my show. It's gonna be streaming on my page, Rebecca Azor. That's Like It or Not. It's our premiere show for the year, and I'm so happy to be with Leftist Mafia this year. I think it's gonna be a really good time. I really do.
I think so too.
I think so too.
We're gonna change the world.
Bye, y'all. Love you, Mina.
Bye, everyone. Love you
Take
too.
care.
Ciao. Bye.
Oh, that's not too
Alrighty.
close. That's good. All right.
Yeah,
This
we're
is
not
fine. With
smushed
2, it's
super
fine.
close
With
there.
3, it's like you got just your face like this.
Yeah, it looks too
It's
weird
too
and it makes me self-conscious.
All right, let's skip all these gifted memberships to Matt Binder. And Tony Rizzo, I believe this is also from Matt Binder. Matt, if you're watching this while still at the TechCon, snag me a new RTX 490, will you? Free, what's that? Anims? For
Anims?
life, if you do. Well, good luck. I asked Binder for free shit too. I don't think he's gonna do it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
This is for me. Lawn Gnomes. We're 3 years out from Jan 6. What's something you still want answers to? I'd love to know who planted bombs near the DNC and elsewhere. I don't know if I have any I don't think there's anything I really want answers to when it comes to Jan 6. I'm more just curious as a whole how people can fall so easily into a cult. I guess that's kind of my question. It's like or more so, how do we get them out of being in a cult?
Right.
If we knew that would really be beneficial.
That's for Rebecca.
Yeah, slaying a queen.
It'd be for either Rebecca or me, and it's not for me. So I would hope.
Is this you?
No.
I assume for
that's
Matt. A Balthazar. America officially struck Yemen, continuing from precedent just now. Yeah, I think we brought that up during the podcast.
Here we go. This one's from me, Lydia Rose, $4.99. Thank you, Lydia. I just wanted to thank you for your coverage of all the anti-LGBTQ laws. You're one of the only ones I've seen talking about it on YouTube. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed that video. I think it's important. But there was so much I wasn't sure what to talk about, so I talked about all the anti-LGBTQ laws. There's a lot. Yeah, I'm glad that you found some value out of that. It was very depressing to make and do research for. T-Types, $5. Thank you. In America, centrism is always right-wing. That's absolutely true. Yeah. Bayphoto, $4.99. We did read this one, but I will read it again. Thank you, Bayphoto.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, CNN talking heads called the Houthi airstrikes in Yemen a de-escalation tactic. Warhawks are insane. Make it make sense. Yeah, I honestly want to find the clip now because that is, I mean, talk about mental gymnastics. That's wild to me.
Yeah. Is this for Matt?
Not for me, so it must be for Matt.
Omega Shenron Dragon. Like Trump, Biden is about to drag us into the throes of COVID, possibly start World War III during the election year, and cuts to popular policies. Yeah, there are definitely similarities. I'm not really sure about World War III, but I want to be optimistic about a no World War III.
Yeah, right.
Let's avoid that, please. 180 Chan, thank you for the $5. Says, I fear how 20 to 30 years from now, how American history books will summarize what is happening in Gaza right now. Yeah, this is what is so amazing to me. It is so clear now who is in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That, we shouldn't need to wait 20 years. I'm not saying you're saying this, but I'm just saying generally, like, we shouldn't need to wait and see, how history will look back at this time. It is very clear now what is going on. And this makes me think back to like other, whether it's like the Vietnam War or other moments in time that where there was a clear division, and now it's clear now who was right, who was wrong. It's always clear, I think, at the time. Just as it is right now. So it's frustrating that there's even a debate over what's going on.
Yeah.
I think this is for you. Or for Matt.
I think it's from Matt.
Charlie DeGenemere. If anyone needs a good chuckle after this is a palate cleanser, look up the long man commercials from Japan. It's got a great love triangle arc. Interesting.
I've never heard of that.
I know they have good commercials. Oh, this is for. I think this is for Rebecca though, because the little link icon. Okay, good Bender is not on to corrupt Becca for this episode. We must protect Becca's innocence. Joking, we love Matt and love you always, Becca. Also for Rebecca. Parker Fetterman, quote, maybe South Africa should sit this conversation of Israeli genocide, but somehow the U.S. deserves to be part of the convo. Yeah, we brought that up during the podcast.
I know.
It's insane.
Lydia Rose with $4.99. Thank you, Lydia. That's a second one for me. Really appreciate that. Trump is going to win or seize power, and I'm terrified of what will come for all of us, especially for my fellow trans people. Yeah, I'm absolutely terrified as well. I think that if he were to win, then, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. We can only speculate and catastrophize. All I'm saying is if you're LGBTQ or like a vulnerable citizen, if you're Black or brown, just have a passport updated already, or just get one just in case shit hits the fan and you have to make a case for asylum. You know, it's better to prepare than just like be kind of, not that it's going to come to that, but like just, you know, good idea.
Yeah, at the very least, it's, you know, a little peace of mind, maybe.
Exactly. Charlie.
Oh, it's for you. Sorry, I have one comment.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're good. Charlie DeJinmere, $5. Thank you. Biden's bloodlust on this is going to turn us into Texas, Florida, and West Virginia in terms of GOP rule. Yeah, I mean, depending on how much worse things get, yeah, he's going to really harm Democrats for the foreseeable future if they're kind of viewed as like the warmongering party. Yeah, we'll see. Nadia Yvette Chambers with $10. Thank you, Nadia. Hillary Clinton already signaled that the Dems are willing to throw trans people under the bus. They won't lift a finger as every last USA trans person is mass imprisoned and forcibly surgically detransitioned. Yeah, I mean, I think that part of it is they don't even know what's going on. Like, they're just like fundamentally disinterested in what's happening right now. Like, Biden could be issuing more executive orders. Like, part of me is so worried because if he were to issue an executive order like undoing these bans on gender affirming care at the state level, that a Republican might just like ban everything. Like it's I think they would probably do that anyway, but it's just, I don't know. There needs to be at least some push, even rhetorically, but there's nothing. Like, it's just kind of happening. And the one time that Biden talked about this was when he was being interviewed by the Harold and Kumar actor. I'm blanking on his name. And yeah, you know what he said. Yeah, is Penn. No. Is it Cal Penn?
Yeah, that's it. Right?
It is Cal Penn? Okay, yeah.
So, isn't it? Yeah, Cal Penn, yeah.
I think so. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
Oh, okay. But yeah, he had a good response, but like Democrats just aren't pushing back, and it's really frustrating. They're just and a poll confirmed this too. I don't remember from which one, but like young people, they don't believe that Democrats are pushing hard enough on LGBTQ plus rights, and yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Charlie DeJinmere, thank you for the super chat. Says, what kills me about Jan 6 is how willing they are to bring kid gloves for the right versus how rabidly they go for lefties in any situation. Yeah, the fact that there's even this idea of, oh, the left and the right are both crazy. The fact that is still being trotted out there after Jan 6 is so completely nuts. Like, yeah. Can you imagine if the left did what Trump supporters did on Jan 6? Like, Jesus Christ. The difference, the difference at the time would have been clear. I think the police would have acted a lot differently. But just it's you're exactly right.
Absolutely. Koya Demon, $9.99. Thank you so much. Mike, not only do you need to overcome your fear of flying for the pending TLM live show, you got to also visit Georgia to meet the Globe Queen, Candace Taylor, too. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't know that I want to meet Candace in person. I might avoid that. I am trying to overcome my fear of flying. What's funny is, as we were talking about this and thinking about this, I was actually looking up like flights and how much it would cost and stuff just to kind of like gauge the number, and also train rides would take like 3 days from Portland to New York, which is out of the question. But like after this happened, there was an incident with a Boeing airplane at PEX.
Oh my God.
Where the whole side blew off. And I'm like, bro, this is not the best time for me to hear this news.
No. Yeah. I'm not even necessarily afraid of flying, but like Honestly, I think I kind of am, and I don't realize I'm afraid of flying because like I enjoyed traveling, and I didn't do it as much when I didn't have a kid. Actually, well, we traveled a bit, but not as much as we probably could have. And I think a part of that was just I really don't like. I love I love being somewhere else.
Right.
I hate the process of getting there. And
Exactly.
I hate the airport. I hate the flight. I hate being crammed in. I hate every time I feel like I'm on a plane, it's the time where I feel bloated. I have to go to the washroom all the time. Like, it's just like it has to be. When I'm sitting in a plane, my body feels like shit. In addition to just me not liking being on a plane, I hate that process especially.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, honestly. Like I'm just like trying. I emailed like therapists or like clinics, and neither of them got back to me. So I'll have to figure out something else. It's not necessarily just like I think I honestly like. I don't think I would be any more. Well, I probably would be a little bit more anxiety ridden on a plane than like traveling long distances via car. It's just like being in a confined place for long and not being able to leave. I feel the same exact feeling like in a car. It's just the claustrophobia. If you know me like in real life, you know I'm a very antsy person. Like I'm always moving and doing something. I'm always like on the go. Like it's really hard for me to sit still. So like just being in that predicament, being a very hyper person and having panic attacks, it just is like it's this combustible situation.
And
So
being in a car, you could just like pull off the road anytime and get out of the car, get some air. Like you're outside. You can stop the car. You can't stop a plane. You're in the plane. That's it. You're in that plane until that plane lands, and that's one of the things I hate about being in a plane.
And there's no fresh air. That's the problem for me. It's not that I fear that like it's unsafe. I actually think it's statistically more safer than driving. It's just that like I can't like go outside, you know, and once you're up, you're stuck.
But if the side panel blows off the side of the airplane, then you get some fresh air that way. At least they had fresh air on the way down. It's amazing no one died. That like those were the seats where no one was sitting. Like the whole thing is that's so insane. I didn't know you could land a plane with like a panel missing. That's just wild.
Right. I mean, it goes to show you that like planes are really safe because that could have been catastrophic.
I guess.
And there's also a corporate malfeasance story here underneath it because Boeing was cutting corners. They knew that there were some issues with the plane. It had flown 3 times previously that day. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, look, I'm trying. I'll just put it that way. It's not just fear of flying that's like my main issue. It's just like existing normally. That's my first. That's like number one.
100%. You first have to be able to exist normally, and then you could deal with maybe some like the plane ride or something else.
Exactly. Like I'm pretty sure I would be fine. It's just getting general panic attacks under control will go a long way. Then I could be fairly normal. You know, the political situation ain't helping as well. But that aside, I would still have panic disorder probably.
Marissa for Rebecca says, any suggestions on how we might be able to be conscientious objectors to paying our taxes? I don't want to not pay, but I don't want to fund genocide. Pay your taxes. You can't. You will go to jail. You have to pay your taxes.
You're just fucking yourself over.
Yeah, you can't control like that's one thing you have to get out of your mind is you can't control where part of your taxes, are going to go. And even, the people that are really into MMT will also discuss how that's not necessarily, you're not really directly paying for any of the stuff. That isn't how money actually works. That isn't how fiat currency works. So you're not really paying for genocide if you look into MMT. But anyways, that's a discussion. I don't want to bring it back up. Wanda for Rebecca says, you get Binder's money tonight. There you go, Rebecca. Wanda for me. Some Binder money for David. Oh, thank you, Wanda. Very kind of you.
And for me, Wanda, thank you.
Very kind.
We'll let Matt know.
Yes.
We got your money, Matt.
Andrew for Rebecca. My donation for Rebecca to get closer to spill the tea. There we go.
Narrator, $5. Thank you, narrator. Left work early, holding back tears today because employees were joking about the U.S. actions towards Yemen without even knowing why we did them. Oh, God. Yeah, it must be nice to like live in such an ignorant form of bliss to where like it's funny to think about like what we're doing abroad because you never have to like deal with the reality of that. I feel for you, narrator. That's really hard. You know, what do you do in that situation? Like, do you try to confront them or do you just let it go? Because like you're not going to convince them. You know what I mean? But yeah, I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Ignar Husky, $5. Thank you, Ignar. 8 years at Safeway here. Oh, see, yeah, you've been there. I'll love to call in for that cathartic stream. About to get to new season and hope to unionize it eventually. Have me on. Look, I think that would be so much fun. I could talk about like retail stories for hours, but I've already shared mine. I would love to hear from everybody else because everybody who's worked in retail or fast food or really any job where you're dealing with like corporate overlords or the public, like you have an interesting story that is relatable to everyone else. So yeah, I would love to do that. We just have to get the capacity to do calls and have it so we can all talk and communicate. And because Binder has it set up to where he can take the calls, but we have to relay the message.
Yeah,
to Binder.
I feel like there has to be a way through StreamYard to maybe do that. I don't know.
At some point, they've got to integrate the feature because they keep adding new features.
They're adding features, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Brienne Vieira, hope I said that right. $5. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, guys. Ready for some gaming too. Same to you. Happy New Year too. Still have Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Awesome. Also, shout out to David's vocal stylings today.
There was a video where I sang a bit of a hymn to make fun of those.
That's right.
To make fun of those Trump supporters.
That was actually I forgot about that.
I did that. I'm like, am I gonna leave this in the video? I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'll put this in the video.
It was so good. I'm glad you did. I totally forgot that you did that. Yeah. No, that was good.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad that video didn't get too many views. So.
None of mine are getting good views this week. That was last week.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Daniel Panic, thank you for your $179, a very specific donation. Thank you. Tokyo Hans, who only ever donates to Matt. Member for 6 months. Guys, this is a Matt chat. I am sad about the dissolution of the Figueiredo Binder ticket. I was looking forward to Mike's stance on appeasing BB.
Oh, see, I'm not 100% sure.
Would you be appeasing BB?
I would drone strike him.
You don't say these things. Of course, he's joking, sir. Everybody
in Minecraft. I'm always assume that I'm talking about things in Minecraft.
Yes, Mike speaks from the perspective of Minecraft at all times. Hope that everyone realizes that.
I'm a gamer.
We all are.
Lizzie, $5. HNY. Who knew a stroke could make one dumb and racist? Such a shame what happened to Fetterman. Yeah, I mean, I don't know to the extent that like having a stroke changes your personality, but like my theory is that he was probably like always this way and kind of hiding the ball. And maybe there's this sense that, look, I already pissed off the left, so I might as well go full and embrace because I mean, like one thing that you can always do if you piss off the left and you get canceled, so to speak, go right wing, just say what they want to hear and they'll embrace you. So maybe he's doing that. But I mean, he doesn't have to grift. He's a senator, for fuck's sake. I don't know. It's a sad situation, and he's one of the reasons why I'll never trust politicians.
Danny Man, thank you for your super chat. Says, I've been wanting to make online leftist content. Any advice on how and where to start? Is it worth it? Be honest, LOL. Thanks, love y'all. So let me answer that question. If you want to do it because you enjoy doing it. Don't do it because you think you're going to make a living off of it, because it's not worth it. and you likely will not be successful because it is very hard at this point to, especially with the way all these platforms now, like I feel like I was like one of the last people to get in before the algorithms really like clamped down on political content. So it's very hard to break through, but if you enjoy doing it, then do it. Like that's for sure. And then maybe you'll find success if you want to pursue it as a full-time thing. I would say probably, I don't know, probably Twitch is the best place to start. I just feel like YouTube is really hard to break, unless you're making very specific, like long form content, like BreadTube kind of content where it's, you know, a 20-minute or 30-minute breakdown on some topic, and you do it like once a month. I think there's still room for that. But like daily news content, I think it's very hard to break in at this point. So it depends what kind of content you want to do. If you want to do more daily news content, I would say probably live streaming and Twitch is probably the best place for that. If you want to do more long form content, which I think is where you would likely find more success if that's what you are hoping to do, then YouTube. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with mostly what you said. The one thing that I would maybe caution against is Twitch, only because I know Hassan is starting to stream on YouTube, and there's like
is he?
they've lost 35% of their workforce. Like they did a lot of layoffs. They also shut down in South Korea. So there's some signs that like if you invest a lot of time in Twitch, I don't know, but I mean, yeah, nothing is forever. YouTube
part of
isn't
Amazon
forever.
though. Like what the
Right. I know it's hard to say, right? I mean, this could just be a moment in time where they're doing bad. But yeah, they laid off like 35% of their workforce, which is I think like 500 employees. So it's a little bit scary. Yeah. But yeah, I agree 100% with you. Don't do it for a career. Do it for fun. Do it because you like doing it. If you have a passion for content creation, then go for it. It's really, really hard to grow an audience, and it's probably even harder to maintain an audience for a long time. It's why you really don't see like a lot of old school YouTubers. Like a lot of them went away, right? Some of them are still around, like Philip DeFranco, Matt Pat, but it's difficult, and there's, I think, oversaturation. Everybody has a podcast nowadays. Everybody has a show. So statistically, it's really hard to break in. But if you enjoy doing it, then you should do it. Like for me, I actually like making content, like just in general. It depends on what it is though, right? Like if I'm making a dumbass music video about like Candace Taylor, Flat Earth, like I just enjoy doing that. I did a whole video essay on Donkey Kong 64 that I posted to my like little gaming channel. I got like 800 views, but I really enjoyed doing that.
Oh, I got to check that out. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I worked really hard on that. I didn't expect it to get any views, especially because I posted on a separate channel, but I didn't want to post it on like my main channel because like people are like don't want to see gaming. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. Like I wanted to replay it and talk about it. So if you can extract joy out of it, then I would say hell yeah, go for it. There's nothing to lose there. But don't like bank your hopes and dreams on it because the game is just so different now, unfortunately.
Yeah, and one last piece of advice is I would say find what your focus is. Like find your niche. It's like what do you specialize in? What's your background? Kind of utilize like what you're into, what you're interested in, and make that a focus. I think you'll likely find more people will want more niche content. There's a lot of channels now that just cover like everything. So if you find what your niche is and specialize in that, then that would be beneficial probably.
Yeah. Oh, correction. I guess that I see Melanie in the chat says that Hassan only live streamed on YouTube as like a one-off. Okay.
I didn't see that do that. I wonder how well that did.
I assumed that like he was maybe trying to slowly but surely migrate the audience over here.
I thought he had like a contract with them or something. I didn't know he could even do that.
Yeah, apparently he does. I had no idea too. But yeah.
Was this for me? It's for me. Bren R, thank you for your super chat. Commander Keen 4. I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is? I don't know. It appears to be a game that I have not heard of.
Oh.
Well, there we go. Interesting. Well, I will keep this tab open and read about this later. Thank you, Bren. For Rebecca, the son of the Gap founders is busy stripping my Oakland A's out of our town and relocating them to Vegas. Thank you for putting the customer above the interest. Gap Corporation, Rebecca, LOL. That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. I can't imagine losing my like favorite sports team to like some shitty owner who wants to move them.
Missed Siren with $10. Thank you. My dementia mom made a point to say she will be at Republican Iowa caucus. Seems to fit the model. Huh.
Tokyo Hans, thank you for the 1,000 yen. Guilting me into giving you money. It worked, didn't it? Thank you, Hans. Very kind of you. Lost my place. Here we Bay photo. David needs to sing for those North Sea TikToks. North Sea TikToks. You know what that is?
I'm not familiar. No.
I don't even use TikTok, so I feel like I'm too old for TikTok. Then again, my mom uses TikTok, so I can't be too old.
I use TikTok quite a bit, but I just get the same like video game videos and cat videos.
That's what I want. I want to get video game videos, and again, like shit, I don't want to see. Like I don't want to see this like.
Yeah, it just depends. Like you got to be really quick with the algorithm. If you get some bullshit that you don't want, you got to swipe really quick. But I tend to watch the game ones more, like people's. Like I'm getting a lot of like top 10 movies of the year and like anticipated movies of 2024. I really enjoy those. Quick, straight to the point. So that's what that's my algorithm. It's actually really nice.
I hear TikTok algorithm actually it is pretty good. Like once it learns who you are.
Yeah, it is very accurate. Yeah, no, I don't like. I rarely get like right wing stuff anymore, and if I get it, like it's a right wing video, and then somebody stitching together their own like response to it. So,
that's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. This is for me, Tokyo Hans. 1,000 yen, some for you too. Thank you, Tokyo Hans. I appreciate that.
And I believe this is the last one. JCast, thank you for the $5. I forgot where Bender went. Remind me again. Wasn't it a foot fetish convention? That's right. Bender's busy at a foot fetish convention this week. He'll be back next week to discuss all the latest feet.
Yeah, I believe it's bondage and foot fetish, right?
Oh, is it? Okay, interesting. Interesting. Well, I hope he brings back many pictures. I'm curious to see what he learned there. I want to hear about all the new feet coming out this year. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. See you all next week.
Take care.
Goodbye.